Let's talk about change of status and how does that work and what are the advantages of it, who should do it, who shouldn't do it. And let's talk about, the advantage in terms of premium processing as opposed to consular processing. So change of status, what is it, what is not, who is it for?
Hey, you want to come to the US, get to E2 visa, L1, or straight out a green card? We've been doing this for the past 10 years, and we wrote a book. It's called Own Your American Dream. What is special about this book is that we went back and have spoken to 21 successful applicants who opened up their businesses here and who are continuing to live the American dream. Hear it from them, because they talk about their fears, their mental state, what went wrong, what went right. The entire blueprint is there. You could just buy the book right here. You can just read it and make up your mind. Continue your video.
Focusing on the E2, no?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, you can talk about in general, but
All right.
E2 or E2 related visas or visas close to the E2.
So for the E2, change of status is permissible. You got to have a status. That's what's called change of status. You have to have, your status when you're trying to do this change. The way you do it is that you apply. There's a form called the I-129, and then you do so, and then you have the ability, unlike in the consulate, right? You have the ability to pay for what it's called premium processing. So that means that you pay the government an extra fee, and then they revise your application and they give you an answer in 15 business days, right? This is a very important tool because a lot of the people who come in, for example, in a B1, B2, and then all of a sudden they realize, after a month or 2 or 3 months or whatever, that there's some opportunities. There might be some franchises that I'm interested in. There might be some business opportunities that I'm interested in, and I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to begin a business here in the United States. Then you came in under a visa. They typically give you a visa for 6 months under B1, B2. That's the usual. So you have to basically have everything adjudicated prior to that because you don't want to be out of status. So if they give you 6 months and you stay longer than 6 months, then that's not good. It doesn't look good. That means that you're outside of the status time that they gave you. So it's not a good thing. So you want to do this within those 6 months. And obviously, I'm sure the follow-up question is, I realized after I got in here to the United States, right, that there was opportunity. And even though initially I wanted to come in here as a tourist, now I'm interested in perhaps being a business person in here. Okay, fine. We're in day 80. We got to wait 90 days, but that means I only have 3 months. How can we do this? Well, you do it through premium processing. You have to do it through premium processing because if you do it the regular route, it's probably not going to be enough time for you to get a response back from the authorities inside of the United States and the clock that you have ticking on the visa that you came in with. So if you don't do premium processing, you're risking that, your attorney is going to say essentially, hey, you got to go. Doesn't mean that you can't finish a process, but you lost the money that you spent on the initial form. You're just going to have to do essentially basically consulate processing. You got to have to just do it from your country. So it's very important that you do, depending on the visas. I mean, some people coming in here and they have a student visa and the visa is for way longer than 6 months, right? So that perhaps is not a problem. But usually, if you want to do a change of status for E2, I highly suggest to do premium processing. You get an answer in 15 business days, and then you get to stay here with your family.
Could there be a case, Joaquin, where, say, I came into the country with B1, B2, invested my money, adjusted my status, scheduled a consular interview, and I've been doing and operating this business for a year, no problems. Now it's time for me to go to consulate and get the visa stamped on my passport after an interview. Could I get denied? What are the chances of that happening?
It's interesting that you bring this up because I think I can start talking about a topic that's really important. It needs to be mentioned if you're thinking about doing, say, change of status, specifically for the E2 visa, and that is that when you're doing a change of status, you're essentially applying for this visa, but you're not getting a visa stamp on your passport. Okay, you're getting approved for the visa. I know this is a little complex and counterintuitive, but it's just how immigration works. Don't blame me. But essentially, when you do a change of status, right, you have been approved for the visa, but you don't have the visa stamped on your passport. What does that mean? So that means that you will get 2 years, but then if you want to or have to, leave the country, you have to go through your consulate or a different consulate. It doesn't always have to be your country's consulate, by the way. There's consulates around the world that take third country nationals. And you have to go basically and then get that stamp in your passport. And yes, there could be a possibility, and this is why it's important that you team up with the right company and team that can help you go through this process, and then essentially be prepared for that interview to demonstrate that you have been doing what you said you were going to be doing with this business when you submitted the application inside of the United States, that the business is running in the manner in which you described when you submitted the application inside of the United States, and that it's looking good and it's looking optimistic, and it's already, giving good signs that it's going to work out, or it's already working out, etc. So you have to be prepared for that. And it's really important that you know that you cannot come back in. If you leave, you have to go to the embassy. You have to get that stamp on your passport. If you come back, they're not going to let you in. All right? So it's really important that the people know that.
Cool. How about the risks? Can I be denied at the consulate?
Yes, there's a possibility. Yes, but
what would be the basis of that?
Maybe the business is not running too well. Maybe perhaps they think that the amount of money that you have invested wasn't substantial, and whoever saw it, your application inside of the United States didn't do a good determination. Maybe they think that it's marginal, which means that you're just making enough money to sort of feed your family and have a life in the United States. That's not the purpose of the visa. Yeah, you can say, look, it's fine. We're green. We're not in red. The business is running. They can say, well, yeah, but you only are making enough in order to basically provide for your family. The purpose of this visa is to invest in the United States, right? And also employ United States citizens or residents or whoever has a work permit and can work legally here in the United States. So that's a possibility. Obviously, once again, my people, if you're with the correct team, that should be avoided, right? And you'll be in a much better position in order to avoid that situation. So yeah, by all means.